Hi, sweet ones. Happy Easter. Happy Good Friday. How y'all doing? Lots of energies in the air. A lot of magic in the air. Sweet ones, Easter is Sunday. We all are aware of that here in the United States. And with that comes resurrection. So the 3 days before Easter, if you will, and actually the whole week of Passover, or this whole time of Passover rather, has been a time of release and purging of everything that needs to go. So each of you can be resurrected on Easter. The resurrection of Christ is the resurrection of yourselves, letting go of everything that you do not want to begin again. The resurrection, Easter, represents new beginnings, rebirth. And with that comes the releasing of all that no longer serves your new path, your new missions, your new life. With that, these energies are asking each of you to surrender. That has been the theme for a long time now. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Surrender what no longer serves you. Surrender to spirit. Surrender the egoic mind. Surrender those relationships that keep you codependent. It's total surrender. A lot of energies that are coming up right now are... There's a car going by, sorry. The energies that are being presented are rocky. They're turbulent, they're chaotic. They are this for a reason, for a purpose. No reason, always a purpose. It will never make sense to the logical mind, sweet ones. Surrendering to spirit will never make sense to the logical mind either. Fear is nothing other than vulnerability. Fear is the ego's way of thinking it needs to protect you by having control. And that control is what you are surrendering. You no longer need that control. And that is hard to do. You have been enslaved in a mind programming that has taught you learned behavior to trust in your mind, to trust in your ego. The awakening journey is nothing other than surrender. Surrender in every way. It is letting go of the ego, letting go of the thought process, controlling. In your brain, there are 7 hearts. In your heart, there are 7 brains. When the 7 hearts in the brain are activated before the 7 brains in the heart are activated, chaos ensues. The ego takes control. And the physical becomes real. The illusion of delusion becomes real for each of you. The awakening journey is the journey of activating the 7 brains within the heart. Shutting down the 7 hearts within the brain to activate the 7 brains within the heart. When the 7 brains within the heart are activated, that activates the higher mind. And when the higher mind is activated through those 7 brains within the heart, it overrides the 7 hearts that were activated in the brain. Humanity has been enslaved through the activation of the 7 hearts within the brain first, shutting down the activation of the 7 brains within the heart. The awakening journey is the journey of ascending the soul, shutting down that matrix, shutting down the activation of the 7 hearts within the brain, and descending the spirit by activating the 7 brains within the heart. Now, the only way to activate those 7 brains is to surrender to your heart, to follow your heart, and to listen to your spirit. There has been a lot of questions about numbers. Everything in this universe, in this omniverse, in this, all of it, in every galaxy, everything comes down to energy, vibration, and numbers, frequency and numbers. Everything is a number. And these numerical codes that you run across through others, through seeing numbers, activate DNA. I'm trying so hard to submit, but I have so many obstacles that screw me up and set me back. Sweetheart, that is your mind convincing you of that. When you come upon an seemingly obstacle, challenge, difficult, whatever label you'd like to give it, sweethearts. Good morning, good afternoon, evening, sweet ones. Good morning, good evening, Crystal. When you see all these numbers, when I love you too, Barat. When you see these obstacles, see through it, sweet ones. See beyond it. It is never what the physical presents. Every issue any one of you have stems from the fact that you fell from grace. And really, you never fell from grace. You chose to be veiled. You chose amnesia. You chose to forget. And you chose this. Hi, beautiful Teresa. You chose this because you wanted to come here to assist Gaia in her transition. You chose this to come here to help humanity activate the 7 brains within their hearts and to help deactivate the 7 hearts in the brain. Everything is a polarity. To see what the issue is that you are facing, look to the polarity. If you have an obstacle, a challenge, a difficulty, look to its polarity. The reason I say look to its polarity is because that is where the answer dwells. Say you have a bad experience in the physical, and I'm going to use an incident that I went through myself. And although I do not have no attachments to it anymore, I have healed from it. I'm gonna use it. When I was raped, I had to see beyond the physical. Sure, the physical presented a horrible distortion. However, if you look beyond, if you look through, and if you see above the physical, if you will, you can see where rape really is a symbolism, if you will, of the raping of a soul. Now, on the physical, rape is a very horrible act. Yet, in the unseen world, It is a symbolism of leaving your soul behind. Nothing is as the physical presents itself, sweethearts. There's always a hidden message. There is always a hidden meaning. There is always an unseen, unheard energy behind it. Now, every single one of you souls here on this planet right now, in this very moment, has been everything and has been nothing. Every single issue, hurt, anger, fear, doubt, anxiety, stress, whatever you want to label it, boils down to the same energy. And the core issue of every single one of those goes back to rejection and the abandonment of the birthing process of you incarnating into Earth. Now, sweet ones, Earth is a playground. Earth is heaven and Earth is hell. It all depends on your frequency, your thought process, and what you feel, your emotions, and how you react in this moment right now. The past no longer exists. We keep telling you that. We keep sharing that with you. Neither does the future. In this moment right now, how you feel, how you act, what you speak, is what is creating what you label tomorrow or the future. Now, you can take steps and you can save for retirement, you can save for a vacation, but I can tell you this, your saving and not doing right now is keeping you seeking after the future. How many times during the course of your lives have you sat there and said, well, when my kids graduate high school, we'll be able to take a vacation? Or when my kids do this, or, I got to work for 15 more years, and then I can relax. Tomorrow never comes, sweethearts. Because what you're seeking is within, not without. Nothing is as the physical presents itself. And that's in every way, every aspect. These energies present experiences. And it is in these experiences that present themselves that give you the opportunity to change that energy. In other words, life is an infinity, the infinity symbol. The past will always dictate your future. And the reason the past will always dictate your future, because what you are experiencing right now in this moment is of the past. And the reason it is of the past, sweethearts, is because the past will always present itself, giving you an opportunity to change that energy, to change your future, and to create a new future for yourselves. You've all heard life is an echo. You have all heard energy out is energy back. To truly understand what that means is to go within your heart. It is in the heart, in the space of the heart, and in that space of love, and in that energy frequency of love, that you change everything that you have created. If you do not like your life right this moment, right now, ask yourself, what is it that you want to change? Because it is in this moment right now is the only moment that you can change. You cannot change the past because it no longer exists. Sure, you have the memories, and those memories is the baggage of the weight of the world that you hold on your shoulders. Those memories are your hurts and your anger and your fears and your doubts and your anxieties. Those memories are learned experiences. And those memories are the energies that are presenting itself to be released, because the only thing that you hold on to from the past is the memories. This moment right now, anything before it, and even the start of this video, is no longer. It's the past. Everything is energy. So, when something occurs and presents itself and you're going through it and you get mad at your neighbor or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife or your kids or the dog down the street because it barks too loud or the chicken that wakes you up, or the rooster, I guess is what I was thinking. Any of it is your own energy that you're experiencing. It is energy that you have put out, and it is coming back to you to change that pattern, that energetic pattern, into something better. When you surrender to Spirit, you allow yourself to enter into a space of feeling rather than emotion. Feeling and emotions are not the same thing. Feeling comes from your heart. Feeling is unseen and unheard. Emotions are seen and heard. Emotions are physical, feelings are not. Feelings are just like your heart, invisible. It is through emotions that those feelings are projected. There is in no moment whatsoever anything other than love. Love is. Love is fear. Love is anger. Love is doubt. Love is all of those things. But love is also joy, happiness, peace, calm, grace, mercy, forgiveness. The opposite of love is not hate, it is fear. Fear comes from the humanness. Fear comes from your spacesuit. Fear comes from the mind that operates your spacesuit. When you reach 0 point and you return any kind of energy back to neutrality, you create from a blank slate. When something is presented to you and you react or give an opinion or show an emotion to it, you are attaching energy to it. You are not changing the energetic pattern. The only reason you experience what you experience is to become aware of the energy and to change the energy pattern to create it into something better. So these energies that are coming up, these doubts, the only way to change them is to step into them. Don't try to think your way out of it, your way through it. Don't bury it. Feel into it rather than think into it. So your neighbor pisses you off today, and you're going on and on and on about coyness, about honoriness, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Before you get to that point, well, she's being coy, or he's being a jerk, or, none of that matters. What matters is that feeling, that moment that it was triggered. The moment they said something or did something, it don't matter what they did, don't matter what they said. The only thing that matters is what they triggered. And before you react, if you can catch yourself right there in that feeling that they have triggered, and you go into that feeling and feel it. Don't attach emotion to it. Don't attach judgment to it. Don't attach energy to it, but observe it. And when you can do that, that right there is when you change the pattern, the energy of it, by feeling into it and loving it, by blessing it, by being grateful that it presented itself to you, giving you the opportunity to change it. It is when these opportunities are presented to you and you go beyond that initial feeling, that initial trigger. say I've been triggered. Well, I'm going to take it back to the incident of the rape. It triggered every hurt, wound, everything that ever existed in me. But because I was not on my journey until that incident happened, and it broke my tailbone and sent me into full awakening of 3 million plus years back, which I didn't understand, let alone understand it. But what happened is I didn't feel into it because I didn't know anything about what was going on. I was a victim, period. I was distraught and I was a victim. And instead of figuring out those feelings, feeling into them, and understanding the core issues like I am able to now, I reacted. And how did I react? I started screaming and begging to die. Be taken out of the cruelty of this world. But again, what we don't understand, or understand, or overstand, whatever label you want to give it, is again, we look and blame everything outside of us. And really, it's all our energy. Whether it's from this lifetime, a past lifetime, whatever it may be. But the individual awakening journey for each of you begins in the physical. And as you go on your journeys, you come into the awareness and you remember more and more as you go along. And now you have reached a space where you are being asked in every which way to surrender. And in that surrendering, you have to remain in your heart. When we speak of quantum jumps, when we speak of taking a leap of faith, taking a leap of faith isn't spirit saying, okay, jump. And you say, well, how far do you want me to jump? How high do you want me to jump? When do you want me to jump? Where do you want me to jump to? Every single one of those questions comes from your ego mind. It comes from your humanness. It does not come from your spirit. And it does not come from your heart. There are no questions in the heart. It just is. Spirit just is. And when you can surrender to that, and you can allow Spirit to guide you in every breath, in every moment, you allow Spirit to tell you what to eat. You allow Spirit to guide you on what to do. You allow Spirit to guide you and to show you and to tell you and to breathe through you in every way. It is the mind that has to make decisions, not the heart. It is the mind that creates doubts because it doesn't want you to follow your heart. And the reason it doesn't want you to follow your heart is because the ego mind is all about power, control, and protection. And by creating doubt and creating fear, it feels that it is protecting you. Yet when you're in your heart, and you remain in your heart, you come to understand you don't need protection. Because when you surrender to Spirit and you allow Spirit to guide you, to push you, to make your decisions for you, and you follow everything the Spirit says to you, whether it makes sense, logical sense, whether it makes sense to do so in the physical or not. When you allow Spirit, when you descend your spirit, and you allow Spirit to take control and take command of your life, of your vessel, life flows. There is no decisions that you have to make. There is no questions you have to ask, because it's all right there instantly. Before you can even ask the question, before you can even make a decision, Spirit has already given you the answer. That is hard for humanity to do. Total surrender. Because again, humanity was enslaved through having the 7 hearts in their brain activated, overriding anything to do with the heart. Ascension is about, again, ascending the soul. What exactly does that mean? It means you release your humanness. You release the ego mind. You ascend your soul back up to the heavenly realms. And then you descend your spirit or your light body form back here to the earth. The ascension and awakening process is you raising your frequencies to a space of pure love and joy and happiness and peace. And by doing so, you activate and are in the process of crystallining your light body forms. Not the wrinkles, not the scars, not the fat rolls, not anything that you don't like. But your light body is what you are crystallining, not your physical body, your light body form. Because when you ascend the soul and descend the spirit, you're anchoring spirit into the earth grid. You're telling spirit, yes, I want to go back to all that I am. And the only way to become the living word of all that you are is to fully surrender to spirit. Bride, is something hurting me? No, nothing. I'm going through an intense activation. I have been since last night. Again, Gaia's transitioning into her light body more and more every day. And with that comes more and more activations and more upgrades, giving you the opportunity to raise your frequencies. Right now, I'm very nauseous. That's probably what Bharat's referring to. But sweethearts, right now, the 7 hearts in the brain were shut down. And it has been shut down through the process of your awakening journey. And in order for those 7 hearts in the brain to be shut down, you had to raise your frequency. And with every frequency you raised as you ascended your soul, it shut those down. And the higher frequency you raise yourself to, the more you activate the 7 brains within your heart. The more you stay within your heart, you activate those 7 brains. Once those 7 brains within your heart is activated, it then reactivates in the correct order, if you will. It then activates the 7 hearts in the brain, which is the higher heart and the higher mind, which is your true nature of both the masculine and the feminine essences coming into unified unity. I love you, beautiful Teresa. It is very intense. It's very intense. And it's very intense for a purpose. Again, all the energies being released at this point are things from 26,000 years ago, sweet ones. You know, it's a cycle. Every 26,000 years, we create a new matrix. We are the first and we are the last. And what that means is we are the bridge builders to the new world. If you look through all your religions, all your history, all your ancient texts, you will find that this is a repeated pattern, and one that we are neutralizing back to 0 point because we are building and creating a new matrix, a new grid. And that new grid is in a 5th dimensional frequency. And anything that, every memory every cellular memory, anything in the grid of 3D for the 26,000 years has to be dismantled, disassociated with, let go, released, purged, whatever word you want to label it. Not only does it have to be released, purged, whatever, from... I'm sorry? I haven't, beautiful. I'll keep an eye out for you, though. Sorry, that was my neighbor asking me about a white cat, if I'd seen it. Where was I? I don't know where I was. But, I don't even know where I was. I lost my train of thought. See, there you go, thought. That's why I lost it. Right now, everything has to be purged that was created, constructed, built within that 26,000 year matrix grid that we are disassociating from. That means every cellular memory that you have, once you fully ascend, those who are ascending with the planet will turn into their light bodies just like she does. You are crystallining that light body form. In the process of crystallining that form into your light body form, if you will, all the memories of the 3D grid have to go. If you look back over the course of your journeys, you will discover that once you have neutralized a memory, it fades away. If you look back over the course of your journeys, you will discover that those memories that you have neutralized are vague anymore because they are fading away, because you've zero-pointed them. You have returned them to the light, you have neutralized them, and you have harmonized them. And they are no longer needed, and so you will forget it. Many of you cannot remember your past lives. That could be one of two things. One, you don't need to, and you have collapsed it in your dream time. You have harmonized and neutralized those timelines back to 0 point. Or you haven't activated those memories yet. Simple as that. Sweet ones, every breath you take is an opportunity for you to begin again. Every moment is brand new. Every night you go to sleep, you die a death. And every morning you awake, you are reborn. It is your memories of the past day, the past week, the past month, the past year, the past lifetime, whatever it may be, that you attach to when you first wake up in the morning that creates that reality again for you to deal with. That will continue. It is a continuous cycle until you deal with whatever you need to deal with and turn it back to love. The physical reality is created through your feelings in your heart first and in your mind. You concentrate on something for 17 seconds, you have planted a seed. You continue on to that thought, emotion, judgment, opinion, whatever it may be, for 68 seconds, and now you have created it, and it will manifest into your physical presence. Now, when that happens, that's up to Spirit to determine when you need that lesson, that test, that initiation, that challenge, that obstacle, that opportunity, because that's what it is. There is no challenge, there is no difficulty, there is no hurt, there is no pain, there is no pleasure, there is no joy, there is only love. And that is where you're returning to the understanding that the only thing that exists is love. Is that easy to do? Yes and no. Why label it? Just allow and flow. So in this process, up through the time Gaia goes through the sun. When she goes through the sun, she will be in full light body. And when she goes into full light body, so too does all of humanity. Those who have chosen to ascend with her, those who have chosen to ascend and go back to their home galaxies, those who have chosen to remain in the lower timelines. It don't matter. Those who have chosen to remain in the lower timelines will die a physical death rather than go to their light body. Those who have chosen to awaken, who have done the inner work, who have released the 3D matrix and all that goes with it, and who have done the work to reconstruct, rebuild, and recreate on the new matrix, will turn into their light bodies, that they are crystallining that light body form right now, and will ascend with the planet or back to their home galaxies. For myself, I will return back to my home planet. It's also helpful to understand that if those home planets, those home star nations, whatever, are within this planet. When we go through the sun, the planet goes through the sun, we are going into a multi-sun galaxy. And what that means is, guys, going to be that second sun. So, sweet ones, the physical world is being released. The physical world as you know it is being reconstructed, released, revamped, revised, recreated, whatever word you want to give it, to label it. And the only way to revise, reconstruct it, recreate it, is to change the energy of that which is being presented to you through your cellular memories. And it is through those cellular memories, returning them to 0 point, to neutrality, and harmonizing them back to the light, or back to love, through love, is how you create new. That's why it is so important for you to allow the process and not attach judgment to it. Everything you are experiencing is your own energy, regardless if it is presented through another being, through a plant, through a tree, the wind, whatever it may be. Whether it's an accident, whether it is a death of a family member, a friend, whatever it may be, it is an aspect of your energy that is presenting itself to you to gracefully allow it to be returned to the light. And right now, that's what these energies are doing. They're just bringing up memories for you to release. Why would you want to carry forward into a new life, a clean slate, again, whatever label you want to give it, excuse me, the very things that you all, in this lifetime and all others, have created? Hate, racism, prejudice, doubt, anxiety, stress. Anything related to those in the physical, it's got to go. They have to be turned back to love. In love, through love. And that, the ego mind, is what makes it challenging. And that's why we encourage you to go within, to not focus on the physical world, but to focus on your world within, because that is what you are creating for tomorrow, for your future. And that is where the more energy you focus within on what you want to create for yourself, versus focusing on judgment and opinions and reactions to what is being presented. And when you can focus, when you can put yourself, regardless of the chaos, the turbulence, whatever you're experiencing, whatever is arising for you, when you can step into your heart first and breathe and center yourself before you react, before you give an opinion, before you judge it, whether it's the other person is presenting the opportunity through what they're saying or doing that's triggering you, or through yourself. when you can breathe and you can stop yourself from engaging in that energy, and you can observe what it's doing to you within, that is where you would like to, that is where you want to place your focus. You don't want to place it on what the physical is presenting. You want to place your focus on what it's bringing up within you. Because that's the only thing that you can change the energy of. You can't change another person, sweethearts. You can't change their opinions. You can't change their judgments. You can't change their reactions. Only they can do that. But you can love them through it. You can hold space, regardless if they're triggering something in you. You can hold that loving energy. You don't have to say a word. You can just breathe into your heart, settle into your heart, and just send loving energy out. And that is how you create your future. It's not by daydreaming and not doing anything. It's not by hiding and burying your emotions and running away from them. It's not through blaming and judging, whether it's another person, whether it's an experience, whether it's yourself. Love is all there is. And right now, what you guys are releasing in order to be reborn come Easter Sunday, to be resurrected in the purity of all that you are, you have to allow yourself to release. You have to allow yourself to love that which arises. You have to allow yourself to take that hurt inner child or that angry inner child or whatever emotion that inner child is feeling. And you have to comfort it, and you have to love it, and you have to reassure it. Because that inner child is Gaia, but that inner child is also your human, because you are surrendering to spirit. And so you need to be that love of spirit for that inner child of yourself and Gaia. I love you, sweet ones. I understand that there is much going on, but everything is energy. And when you can allow yourselves to see everything as energy rather than people or things, it makes allowing much easier. Nothing is ever being done to you. It is being done for you, by you. The next few days is going to be challenging for many of you. It's going to be challenging to the mind. Allow yourselves to sink into your hearts. And if you're not sure how to do that, then ask. Ask and you shall receive. I love you too, Suzanne. You too, Paula and Jordan. It's most helpful to drink some extra water with some lemon. It's most helpful to eat, ingest darker green vegetables during these integrations. Walk on the earth, barefoot. If you can, 30 to 45 minutes a day, that will help you ground these energies that are coming in. Lay on the grass, hug a tree for 10 minutes, go into water, whether you take a bath, a salt bath, you go in the shower. Ask to be bathed in golden white light as it purifies your mind, body, heart, soul, and spirit. In the mind, body, heart, soul, and spirits of all life forms in Gaia. Before bed, I encourage you, ask and ye shall receive. Ask every night before you go to bed to bring you the clarity, the revelations, the integration, the balance, whatever it is that you are seeking. Ask your angels, ask yourself, ask your mighty I Am presence, ask your team before you go to bed. If you need to remember your dream time, ask. And the more you ask, the more you shall receive. Your guides and your team, you can never ask them too much. They are there to help you, and they want to help you. It is their greatest aspiration to help you. It is their greatest aspiration to help assist you in surrendering to your spirit. And if you are not sure how to do that, ask. And then go within the stillness of your heart and listen. Because you will not hear it through your mind at all. You can only feel it through your heart. And it is through those feelings in your heart that will activate your higher mind and give you the wisdom of the heart to guide you. And it is the energy of the heart that is your Savior. There is no one outside of you that will save you but you. And that's because only you can return you to your heart. And when you can change the thought process from fear to love, you come to the understanding that all fear is vulnerability. And it is stepping into that vulnerability of your heart, with your heart, in your heart, of your heart, that will dismantle, deconstruct any fear, anxiety, emotion, reaction, judgment that you have. You have, you have been taught to never follow your heart. The truth is always disguised as a lie, sweet ones. And the only truth there is peace. You all, the greatest aspiration for any being on earth at any given moment is happiness and peace. But happiness and peace cannot be found in the mind. It cannot be found in the physical until it is brought into the awareness of through the heart. That is the only way you will ever aspire to the very thing that you want. And that is love. That is peace, and that is happiness, and every single thing falls under love. Because love is. God is love. God is. Love is. There is no difference. It's all one in the same energy. And that, sweet ones, is your ultimate destination, which is not outside of this planet. It's not outside of you. It's within. Heaven is not a place, sweethearts. It's a frequency. Just as hell is. Earth is hell. It is the abyss. But it is also heaven. And the only reason it is the abyss, and the only reason it is hell, is because you stepped outside of your hearts. And you stepped into fear. And that's okay. And that is where you have to stop judging yourself. Because it is okay. It is perfectly divine. And the reason it is perfectly divine is because you chose it. You chose it. You choose it in every moment. And you choose to return to all that you are, which is love. There is no difference between light and dark, sweet ones. One is condensed and one is not. Simple as that. Love is both. Because it is in the void, the chaos, the dark, that creation begins. It is in that space of absolute vulnerability and unknown. It is stepping into that fear and into the vulnerability of exposure, of rejection, of abandonment, of ridicule. You're beautiful. Barat, you will never stop feeling because feeling comes from your heart. However, you will, providing each does their own inner work, will stop reacting through emotions. Emotions are the false prophet. Emotions come from the ego. Love is the only truth there is. And in a linear world, which is what the physical right now is presenting, in finite and in linear time, the mind thinks that everything is absolute. And the truth, in a world of absolute, will always be fluid. In other words, it will always be changing. And the reason it'll always be changing, and the reason so many of these people and these other ones of us light workers and everything else, and those on the awakening journey that preach and post all this about truth and untruth. There is no such thing as truth and untruth, because that by labeling it as such as creation as separation. The only absolute truth there is love. Because love is. It's all of it. It's the good, bad, the ugly, indifferent. It's everything and it's nothing. It is the human mind that labels things. And when you strip away all those labels and you allow yourself become naked, and you don't identify with the labels and the learned labels and everything else, you come to understand that all there is love. That there is no darkness. That there is no sin. There is nothing but an energy of love. And if you don't understand any of that, and you don't want to understand any of that, then look at it like this. Do unto you, do unto your neighbors as you would do unto yourself. In other words, you're not going to cheat on yourself. You're not going to steal from yourself. You're not going to lie to yourself. Well, the human does. But your spirit won't. The human doesn't like to take accountability or responsibility. The ego mind does not. And the heart takes all responsibility and all accountability for every word it speaks, for every emotion, every reaction, every judgment or non-judgment, whatever it may be. Spirit takes full accountability and responsibility for it. Spirit understands that everything is an experience. Spirit understands that energy out is energy back, and that everything that one goes through and experiences is because that's the energy they put out. And Spirit also understands, and the heart within you understands, that all is love and nothing else. That duality only exists in human form. Separation only exists when you are embodied in a physical vessel of flesh. Now you can attach to that physical vessel, or you can detach from it and allow Spirit to guide it. Spirit to command it. And when you allow yourself to do that, you will find that life becomes easier and more graceful and more gentle. And you will find that when you harmonize and neutralize through the experiences you are presenting, the energy that arises with it, when you harmonize and neutralize that, you don't experience it again. because you have changed the behavior pattern of how you react. And so when you can react, no matter how detrimental or horrible or traumatic your mind labels anything, you will find that life becomes truly magical. The higher you raise your frequency by neutralizing and harmonizing the energies that are arising and presenting themselves to you, you raise yourself to a higher frequency, and with every higher frequency, those lower energies will fall away from you. However, when it presents itself to you, and you participate or react or engage, judge it, offer an opinion, you have just now recreated it to happen again in your future. Because energy out is energy back. So if that neighbor pissed you off today, and you told them to go F off, guess what? Guess what energy is going to come back to you in the future and present itself even stronger than what it presented today. So if your spouse triggered anger in you and you went off on them, guess what? It's going to be presented again because you just put that energy out there through your own emotional reaction, your emotional judgment, and your emotional opinions. Energy out is energy back. And that is what this journey for you all is all about. Learning to master your energy. Master your energy through your feelings, your reactions, your thoughts, and your words. Every word you speak is a promise you are making to yourself. You tell somebody to F off, you're really telling yourself to F off. You lie, cheat, steal, whatever you want to label it. You participate in a lower vibrational energy. You participate, engage in anything that is not holy and pure of the energy of love. You are asking the universe to bring it back to you sevenfold because you have not learned the lesson on how to change the energy. So you want to go march in a protest, go for it. But do it through love and do it through peace. Do it through your heart rather than your ego or your mind. You want to go protest racism and prejudice and this and that, then don't participate in it, but do it through love. Don't get angry at your politicians. Don't feed the energy of the corruption. Because the more you do, the more you're saying, hey, I haven't experienced this enough, bring me more. The more angry you get and step out of your heart in that peaceful, graceful mercy of your heart, and the more you engage in the outer world in judgment and anger, regardless if it is standing up for your rights or not, you can do it in peace and grace and calm. You don't have to sit there and call Trump and all the cabal and all the dark and Illuminati that you guys label. You don't have to sit there and call them names or this or that. Because really, you're just feeding it energy and creating it to continue. Humanity complains, humanity bitches and moans that they don't like what's happening in the world. Then stop participating in it. Stop feeding it energy. You don't want cancer present? Then stop spreading it around. You want to see an end to breast cancer? Then stop sharing the posts to make breast cancer awareness. Because really all you're doing is bringing awareness to the energy to keep cancer present. Same with suicide, the same with mental illness, the same with anything. The only way to change your future, the only way to change the matrix, sweethearts, is to master your energy and what you feed it to. You want to see cancer go away? Then stop focusing on cancer. You want to see child abuse go away? Then stop feeding it energy. Instead, feed it love. And focus on how you can change what is being presented and brought into your awareness through love. Focus on the outcomes, sweethearts, of how you want to see it done, see it changed. But don't focus on all the energy that created it, because that is what is continuing its creation. Step out of the absolute, sweet ones. Step out of the linear and step into yourself. And when you allow yourself to do that, you will find your physical reality will change. Because you have changed the energy of fear to love. Your heart will never lead you wrong. And neither will spirit. But your humanness will always lead you wrong. And so allow yourself to feel the magic, sweet ones. And allow yourself to rest through these energies. Allow yourselves to recharge. And allow yourselves the time that you need during this holiday to ground, because it is going to be necessary. Things are turning up, and the fire, if you don't know how to dance in the fire, you're gonna get burned, sweet ones. I love you too, beautiful Debbie. So I encourage you to dance. And if you don't know how to dance, I encourage you to be asking your angels and your team and your higher self to show you how. Because in the heart, all dance lessons are free. Enjoy the music, sweet ones, because we're turning it up. I love you. I am holding you in eternal peace, grace, love, blessings, abundance, prosperity. And remember, sweet ones, mercy is forgiveness. And nothing but forgiveness. So allow forgiveness, allow that mercy, and grace all with that mercy. And step into love. I love you. You all have a beautiful, beautiful evening, and a beautiful, for those who celebrate the Easter holiday, happy Easter and happy resurrection to Gaia and to all of humanity, and allow yourselves to be reborn. I love you, sweet ones. Have a great, great, great night. Big, big hugs and blessings. Bye-bye now.